Good morning, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. The meeting of the House of Representatives underway at the Parliament building in the capital. Prime Minister Dahal scheduled to answer questions raised by lawmakers. Asian Development Bank to provide 2 billion rupees in grant for the construction of headworks of the Melamchi drinking water project. Construction works expected to complete in 4 years. Dispute between the Chinese and the Philippines Coast Guard in the South China Sea turns into a clash. Use of swords, axes and knives among other arms reported. And the national cricket team returns home after participating in the group stage of the ICC T20 World Cup in the USA and West Indies. Focus to shift on the upcoming series under the ICC League 2. The meeting of the House of Representatives is currently underway at the Parliament building in capital's New Baneshwar. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal is scheduled to answer questions raised by lawmakers in today's meeting. The Parliament Secretariat has said that the Premier is scheduled to address the questions raised by lawmakers as per paragraph 9 of the Parliament regulation. In today's meeting, concerned ministers are scheduled to answer questions raised on the appropriation bill. Meanwhile, the officials of the Federal Parliament have continued their protest. They had obstructed the live broadcast of yesterday's Parliament meeting as well. The meeting of the House of Representatives had been postponed due to the obstruction. The Parliament proceedings were also affected due to the protest by the officials demanding to increase their salaries and additional incentives. Speaker Devraj Ghimire had held a dialogue with Prime Minister Dahal and Minister for Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs, Padam Giri. Likewise, Speaker Ghimire also held talks with National Assembly Chair Narayan Prasad Dahal and Minister for Finance Barsha Manpun. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked in several provinces, why do they think lawmakers from both the ruling and the opposition sides protested against the federal government's budget for the next fiscal year? Let's take a look at what they had to say.
सरकारमा भएको मन्त्रीहरूले बजेट जति आफ्नो जिल्लातिर थुपारे अब जनतालाई कर मात्रै थुपारे अब विरोध त गर्नै पर्ने भयो
मन्त्रीहरूले आफ्नो आफ्नो जिल्लालाई मात्र हेरेका छन् जनतालाई त हेर्ने कहीँ पनि देखिदैन
पहुँचको आधारमा ल्याएको भएर धेरै विवाद भयो
एउटाले ल्याएको बजेटलाई अर्कोले विरोध गर्नु स्वाभाविक प्रक्रिया पनि हो
कर्णाली मधेस लगायतका क्षेत्रहरू जुन पिछडी रहेका छन् उनीहरूलाई सामान्य गरी बजेट नआउँदा चाहिँ यसरी विरोध भइरहेको
नेताहरूले आफ्नो खल्तीमा हाल्ने बजेट होइन यो त्यसले गर्दाखेरि जनमुखी बजेट बनाएर विकास गर्नुपर्ने आवश्यक देखेको छु
हाम्रो नेताहरूमा इमानदारीता हुनु पर्यो र इमानदारीता भएपछि बजेटमा पारदर्शिता पनि हुँदैन र एकरूपता पनि हुन्छ
नेताहरूको यसो हेर्ने हो भनेदेखि आफ्ना खुसीको बजेट जस्तो पनि छ र सरसल्लाह गर्नुपर्दो हरेक उसमा छलफल गर्नुपर्दो
दुर्गममा कम बजेट जानु र यो कार्यकर्तामुखी बढी बजेट विनियोजन हुनु
बजेट चाहिँ ठुला नेतामुखी भयो जनतामुखी हुन सकेन
सबैतिर सन्तुलित वितरण भइरहेको छैन त्यही भएर अहिले चाहिँ संसदमा चाहिँ विरोध भइरहेको छ
Asian Development Bank ADB has provided 2 billion rupees in grant for the construction of headworks of the Melamchi drinking water project. Secretary of the Ministry for Drinking Water and Irrigation, Suresh Acharya, said that ADB has provided 2 billion rupees grant for the construction of headworks of the project that had been damaged by the 2021 Melamchi flood disaster. The grant has been received at a time when efforts are being made to construct the headworks 1,000 meters above the previous location, which had been completely buried by mudslides. The authorities of the project had been suggesting to relocate the headworks at a safer location since past 2 years. However, the Council of Ministers had reached a decision in this regard only a few days ago. With this, the process of selection of advisor for the relocation of headworks has begun. The authorities has said that construction works will complete in 4 years, while the estimated cost is 3.5 billion rupees. 3 individuals have died after a passenger bus and an Indian freight truck crashed with each other at Bagmati Municipality 1 of Sarlahi under the East-West Highway. 13 others have been injured in the accident. The ill-fated passenger bus that was headed to Janakpur from Bhairahawa crashed with the freight truck that was parked on the side of the road in Raimaji Chowk at around 6 a.m. this morning. Police have said that the deceased have been identified as Darshak Kahar, Ram Sharan Kebat and Hari Bahadur Chaudhary of Rupandehi. Deputy Superintendent of Police Deepak Shrestha said that those injured are being treated at various hospitals. One individual has died in another vehicular accident in Dhading's Siddalik. A four-wheeler had met with the accident at Khire of Siddalik Rural Municipality, Ward number 2. The deceased has been identified as 52-year-old Lok Bahadur Gurung. Police have said that the ill-fated vehicle had plunged 300 meters below the road section. One individual has been injured in the accident. Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question: where within hospitals do you see the most irregularity? Your options are A, treatment and human resource, B, medicine and equipment, and C, management. Voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. The post of chairs and deputy chairs of 3 local levels are currently vacant as they have been suspended after corruption cases were filed against them. This has raised uncertainty regarding the endorsement of their budget. The policies and programs and the budget of Godavari, Bagmati and Jaleshwar municipalities have been pushed towards uncertainty as they lack leadership at the moment. However, the budget based on constitutional provision must be introduced by Monday next week. Chairperson of Lalitpur's Godavari municipality, Gajendra Maharjan, and Deputy Chair Muna Adhikari had been suspended after corruption case was filed against them. Corruption cases have also been filed against Chairperson of Sarlahi's Bagmati municipality, Bharat Kumar Thapa, and Deputy Chair Leela Kumar Mokhtan, and Chairperson of Mahottari's Jaleshwar municipality, Suresh Shah Sonar, and Deputy Chair Raushan Khatun. All 3 municipalities are currently without leadership. Meanwhile, there is a lack of proper legal provision regarding work division amid the absence of the leadership. The Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority, CIAA, has filed cases against 84 elected public representatives of local levels and 169 nominated candidates so far. The Ministry for Federal Affairs and General Administration, meanwhile, has become uncertain about how to proceed with the works of these local levels. The Ministry has demanded suggestions from the Office of the Attorney General in this regard. Experts have suggested that the issue can be resolved by summoning meetings of the municipalities under the leadership of the senior-most member of the local level and amending regulations. However, this comes with legal hassles as well. Legal experts say that in such a case, law must be amended. Report by CIAA and the Office of the Attorney General shows that irregularity is rampant at local levels. Data also shows that local levels have failed to maintain financial discipline. However, the provincial and the federal government have remained indifferent towards this issue. The government has been unable to meet a majority of its targets for the ongoing year in terms of the energy sector. The goal of producing 900 megawatt of additional power announced last year, completing 3 projects under the Nepal Electricity Authority and starting 6 projects have yet to be achieved. The plan to gather investments to give momentum to the transmission line has also yet to come to life. During the budget announcement last year, the government had committed of selling 10,000 megawatt electricity to India in 10 years, and an agreement for the same was also struck. However, more than half the goal is yet to be achieved. According to the Ministry for Energy, the country has managed to produce just around 400 megawatt additional electricity. Although the construction of the transmission line in Raswagadi, Mid-Bhotekoshi and Sanjan has completed, several works are still pending. Works of Upper Arun, Chainpur Sethi, Jagdulla, Simbula River, among others, are yet to also complete. The government has yet to call for tender for majority projects. The general trend so far for Nepal is exporting electricity to India during monsoon and importing from them during dry season, which experts say is due to lack of reservoir-based hydropower project. The government had said it will prepare a modality for the 1200 megawatt Budi Gandaki hydropower project, which has yet to happen. However, the government has now aimed at kicking off the construction next year. Elsewhere, the 635 megawatt Dutkoshi project is lacking budget, resulting in compensation issues. Likewise, DPR has been stranded for the Seti River 6. Meanwhile, on the bright side, the government has completed the agreement for Lower Arun project. However, it has struggled to collect resources for the transmission line, which would help the state use surplus energy. Sources for funds for other projects like the Bhedi Corridor, West Seti Corridor and Arun Corridor are also uncertain as of yet. For other projects like the 400 kV Butwal Lamahi Dodhara transmission line, the environmental impact assessment is still pending. The Lapsifedi, Ratamate, Hetaura and Ratamate Damauli Butwal 315 km transmission line projects that are under the American-funded Millennium Challenge Corporation are currently evaluating their tender applications. While the Indian side has already completed works of the new Butwal-Gorakhpur line on their side, Nepal government has only just begun evaluating the tender applications. Likewise, the modality for the Inarwa, Purnia and Dodhara-Bareilly transmission line is yet to be ascertained. Time now for international update. Dispute between the Chinese and the Philippines Coast Guard in the South China Sea has turned into a clash. A violent clash between the security forces of both sides in the disputed area of the South China Sea has been reported. According to the military commander of the Philippine Navy attacked the Chinese Coast Guard troops with swords, axes, knives and sharp weapons. The Chinese side also attacked the Philippine Coast Guard. China has claimed that the main culprit of the incident is the Philippine Army. Lin Jian, the spokesperson of the Chinese Foreign Ministry, said that a violent clash erupted when they tried to stop the Philippine ship that was illegally transporting cargo. Filipino soldiers were also injured in the clash. According to the military department of the Philippines, they were immediately rescued and taken to the hospital. The Chinese side seized all the weapons that were on board the Philippine ship. The Philippine side, meanwhile, has urged the Chinese side to return the seized weapons. Likewise, on Monday, the Chinese side intentionally collided with the Philippine ship in the 2nd Thomas Shoal area. According to Philippine side, the ship was heavily damaged in that collision. Both sides have been making their claims in the South China Sea. Russian President Vladimir Putin arrived in Vietnam today for talks with the country's communist leaders after concluding a defense pact with North Korea for his final stop on a two-nation tour of Asia. Putin's aircraft touched down at Hanoi's International Airport, where he was met on a red carpet by Vietnamese Deputy Prime Minister Tran Hong Ha. In an opinion piece timed for his visit, Putin applauded the Southeast Asian communist-ruled country for supporting a pragmatic way to resolve the crisis in Ukraine in comments published in Vietnam's Communist Party newspaper. Vietnam, which officially pursues a neutral foreign policy, it called bamboo diplomacy in its relations with world powers, has abstained from condemning Russia's attack on Ukraine, a stance that Western countries view as too close to the Kremlin. The Southeast Asian country will be the third nation Putin has visited after China and North Korea since he was sworn in for a 5th term in May. Vietnam has been gearing up for a full state welcome for Putin, his first visit since 2017 and his 5th in total. Along with holding talks with Vietnam's top leaders, Putin will attend wreath-laying ceremonies, including at the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum housing the emblemed corpse of Vietnam's founding leader. Dressed in white, residents displaced by violence from the southern Mexican town of Tila marched yesterday to demand that the government allow them to return safely to their homes. Holding signs and balloons with messages of peace and justice, Tila residents walked through the streets of Yajalon, where they are currently taking shelter. On the night of 4th of June, dozens of heavily armed men arrived in trucks in Tila and began shooting at homes and businesses and setting buildings on fire. The violence in Tila lasted 3 days until 7th of June, when the army arrived. All of Tila's inhabitants, some 4,000 people, fled their homes, carrying only some clothes with them. Residents said violence has increased in recent years, along with drug trafficking and extortion. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good day.